So about 9 months ago, I felt like everything was falling apart. I had a bunch of people on my team quit, bills were stacking up, production was dipping for my sales team, and my personal life was starting to get worse and worse. And I kept asking God to change my circumstances, right? I feel like a lot of people, whenever things start to go worse, you start praying and asking God to make him feel better. And looking back now, as everything is going back up and trending back up, I realized that God wanted me to build myself before he blessed me. So there's 5 big lessons I took away from that season that I realize now looking back on it. And I wanted to share that with everyone just to have a testimony out there. And it's really the idea that the season that I thought was breaking me was just the season that he was using to build me and prepare me. First one was this verse that I love. I wrote it on my mirror. It's Psalm 21:3. Very famous verse. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And that ties into the first lesson I learned, which is God is my provider, not my business. So looking back at it now, for those 9 months, every business has slow seasons, and it was really helping me to realize like my identity, my worth, everything, my purpose doesn't come from my business or my business doing well. Like, he's going to provide for me no matter what. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want doesn't mean you can't be ambitious. It just means realize that he's always going to be there for you, and he's always going to make sure that you're okay, and he's taking you down the path that he wants you to be on. So once I started realizing that, my confidence slowly started shifting from I'm confident and I'm happy when the business is doing successful and I'm making a lot of money, to I'm confident and I'm happy whether the team is having a record week or if everyone on my team quits, because I know he's looking out for me. Once I started realizing that and really praying on that more and realizing that, that's when I started to see a big shift just in everything, everyday life, not just business, but mentally, physically, spiritually, everything. The second lesson I learned, and this is a big one, is be a good steward. We've all heard of the proverbs of the talents, right? And one thing that God really taught me in this season, I'm so grateful looking back at it now. Even back then while I was going through it, like, I realized this. I'm so grateful he taught me how to be a good steward and what bad stewardship can lead to you with making my first $1 million. So I've been in the life insurance industry for 3 years, and I've made over $1 million throughout my 3 years here. And I'm so happy I learned that lesson now with my first $1 million. So that way it's not like when I have $10 million, I'm a bad steward of that and I lose it all. So he taught me a few different things. One, I always knew reinvesting into the business is super important. Super important. However, you also need to make sure that you can provide for yourself and for your loved ones at the same time. So there's a little bit of a balance. If you reinvest super aggressively, you're going to grow super aggressively, but realize that every single business, no matter what you get in, is going to have high seasons and slow seasons. And you need to make sure you have enough stacked up for the slow seasons, not to live out of fear, right? You still want to live out of abundance, and living out of abundance helped me accelerate to the point where I got to making $1 million. But you still need to just be smart and be a good steward and show them, what you're worth. I heard this phrase the other day where we all have heard the phrase, you have to spend money to make money, right? But there's 3 different parts to that. So you spend money to make money, right? So that depends on your business, spending more money, getting you in better environments, making more money. But then there's also, you need to invest money to multiply your money. So investing into your business, that can be investing into other assets. And the other thing is you need to save money to keep money. So those are 3 lessons. We always hear spend money to make money, right? But it's spend money to make money, save money to keep money, invest money to multiply money. So looking back at it now, like, I've learned that lesson. I'm so happy I learned that with my first $1 million. So when I go and make my next $10 million, I'm in a much better situation, right? The third thing, this is a big one. I had to take down some notes so that way I didn't forget anything. This is a big one. But God wanted more of my attention. And I heard this back when I used to live in Tampa at a church called Radiant Church. Pastor Aaron Burke said this. He said, if you're too busy to pray, you're too busy. Now, every day I read a devotional. It usually has a theme for whatever that day is. And then it has some verses that tie into that, and then a Proverbs of the day, a prayer on it. And while I was going through that season, and even leading up to that season, so while the team was doing successful, I started getting away from spending intentional time with God, and I was really just treating it as more of a to-do list. Okay, I read my devotional, check off the box. All right, giving him the leftovers of my time, but he wants the first tenth. It says in the Bible that God wants the first tenth of your crop. So when you're looking at that, crop doesn't just mean your money. Even though tithing is important, it also means your time. He wants the first tenth of you. So the first tenth of your morning, he wants your time. He doesn't want your leftover time when you're, tired and exhausted, burnt out, anything like that. He wants your first tenth of your time. So this season really taught me God is not a to-do list. He's a priority. He's going to help you stay grounded, and he really just wants you. He wants more of your time. So biggest thing is that I never stopped believing. I never stopped having faith. I never stopped reading devotional. So on paper, it looks like you're being a good Christian. You're following the path, but deep down, hey, I didn't spend enough intentional time with my Father, and I'm not really listening to what he has to say. So that was a big thing is, are you seeking his blessing or his presence, right? Because if you're just seeking his blessing, if you're just treating him like an ATM machine, where you go in with a prayer and you're expecting a blessing back, that's not how it works. He wants a relationship with you. And this season really taught me, no matter what you have going on in your life, make him a priority, make him everything, right? Okay, another big lesson I had was identity check. And anybody who knows me knows that I don't have a big ego. Now, 100% I'm very competitive. 100% I believe I can be the best. 100% I have big dreams and big goals, and I'm 100% confident in myself. So in a sense, there is an ego. One of my mentors says you have to operate from a 51-49 standpoint. So 51% is up to God and praying and believing in him. 49% is I'm a dog and having that self-belief and ego right there, but always putting him above that. But what this really taught me it humbled me, man. Going through a slow season will really humble you, especially when you go from the highest of highs to what feels like the lowest of lows. It'll really humble you, and it just teaches you who are you when things aren't going well. When things are going well, everyone can look great. Everyone can look like they're doing all the right things. Everyone can look like they're on top of the game, but you really find out who you are when you're not winning. It's just a Lil Baby song. I know it's funny to tie Lil Baby into this, but he says in it I done lost everything. I never lost my self-esteem. But that ties into perfectly the season you're gonna go in whenever you aren't doing well in business. You can lose everything, but you never need to lose who you are as a person and your character. So I had to remember it's not my title in my business. It's not the number in my bank account. I'm a child of God first, and putting that first. And another big thing is preparation feels like delay. And I heard this quote the other day: most people pray for blessings, few people pray for preparation. So the problem with preparation is it doesn't feel good, right? There's no immediate dopamine hit. It's waiting, setbacks, uncertainty. You don't know what's going on. And looking back at it now, my team quitting on me the other year and just showing me who's actually in my back, who's actually loyal to me, people who came around me and actually supported me and helped me out. Okay, those are my brothers. That's who I'm really going to build with. The people who weren't here, no hate toward them, but I know that's not who I'm meant to be building with. And so now, whenever we start accelerating up, I have way more trust in those people around me because they were with me when it wasn't good. Yeah, but preparation, it's just being prepared for the blessing, man. Everyone wants to be a blessing, but it's the worst thing God can do is give you a lot of money or give you a lot of blessings and you don't have the discipline to match it. I know one thing that really stuck out to me last year was when the team started doing successful, I stopped being as disciplined, right? And this season taught me now where you have to have a healthy amount of paranoia that things aren't going to go well, right? Never, like I said, never operating out of fear, always operating out of abundance. So maybe instead of paranoia, like, oh, I could lose everyone, it's like, it doesn't matter if I lose everyone, because I'm going to keep doing what it took me to get me here, and I'm going to keep growing. So even if these people leave, I'm going to have more people coming in. So you always want to be operating from a place of that as well. But that was the biggest thing, man, is teaching me those lessons. So I'm just sharing all that to say, like, that's part of my testimony. I want to keep doing more videos like this. This is my first one doing it. And one phrase I like is no test, no testimony. So you're going to have to go through those tests, but those tests are just helping you build your testimony to help other people as well. So those are the biggest lessons I learned. Thank God I learned them at this level, right? So that way it's way easier when I get, or I shouldn't even say easier, because it's definitely going to be more difficult and more challenging, but I wouldn't want to learn these lessons at a different level. I'm going to be grateful for the other lessons I have coming. All right, thank you. God bless, and let's get it.